So how does the Olympics compare to other tournaments? In one of the other episodes, this is the second recording I've done for this series. I was speaking to Kaz Cuthbert recently, and she basically she would pick the Olympics over the World Cup in terms of importance in hockey. How's the Olympics compared to the Commonwealth Games, the World Cup, the Europeans?
Europeans and World Cups are hockey only events. Commies and Olympics are multi-sport events. So that's the primary difference. And therefore, the level of distraction that exists at at Commonwealth Games and Olympic Games is far greater. You're walking to the lunch hall at a World Cup, which is hockey only, and you pretty much know every person because it's the people that you compete against. But an Olympic Village, as an example, you've got 10,000 people in an Olympic Village going to a meal hall that can hold 3 or 4 thousand every minute of every day. It's massive. It's a scale that you almost can't comprehend until you do it. The Commonwealth Games is a smaller version of that, but it's still pretty impressive. And you have multi-sports, you have different people from different sports that are incredible. I can remember being in the Commonwealth Games in 1998 when the New Zealand rugby team were there. Now, I have a recollection that that's when Jonah Loma was still playing. I haven't got a photograph of that, but I think that was his period of time, and therefore he was at that. I've got Olympic Games where you're sitting next to some of the world's very best athletes. The Michael Johnsons of the world were in '96, Roger Black, etc. And that the historical references to some of the world's very best athletes at the time, and you're in the same environment. And before the competition starts, everybody's on the same footing. Nobody's got any medals at that point. And so you stand at the opening ceremony, essentially from a performance perspective, on the same footing as some of these other people. So I think winning a Commonwealth or an Olympic Games is harder because of the distractions. And I actually genuinely think it would be interesting to do a study of people who the success rate of athletes in their first versus their second versus potentially their third games and the maturity that comes across that and the focal point. Because, as an example, I can tell you everything about the hockey from Athens in 2004. I can tell you everything about the event from Atlanta in 1996, but I couldn't tell you about the hockey. I genuinely can only remember one game. And it just shows, therefore, the focal point of your memories is the first time you go, it's the event, it's the thing, it's the Olympics, and you remember everything around it. But by the time you get to the end of it, you've gone beyond that distraction. You've gone, actually, it's just another hockey event. So therefore, if you go to the World Cup and the Olympic and the European Cup, it's a hockey event, and actually, it's a little bit more distilled. It is more intense and focused. But because of the nature of our sport, it's never going to be the same level as the Olympics. And so consequently, because of Olympic funding, the Olympics is the highest thing on our calendar because from a governing body perspective, it's the most important kind of financial driver.
Tao MacLeod, producer of the Half Court Press podcast, has published a book via Amazon. A Little Book About Hockey is now available from the Amazon website.